And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Powerful Conversations. Got the big homie Kemo back in. What's going on, partner?
Everything, man. Everything is good. Life is good. You know how it is, bro.
Yeah, we've been off for a couple of weeks, but we back, man. We back. We pushing along. The work don't stop. Sometimes we just can't connect on the screen, but the work
Oh
don't stop.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes it's hard when you in the daily struggles of life, and you're running around and things pop up, and but like I said when we last talked, we just got to keep going. You know,
Yeah,
don't think about what we can't do. Think about what we can do and keep
yeah.
going.
Facilitate that.
Exactly. I think that's just important for everybody to know, like what it really takes to, uh, you know, make a way the way you want to. And, one of the funny things is when we had our last conversation, our thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about, you know, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking with somebody the other day because I was like, you know what? It seems like that starts to become a very popular way of life, especially in our culture. The
Mm-hmm.
segregation gets to be larger and larger and larger from, all these chiefs, and then the Indians are sitting out there going, well, I want to help, but the Indians are becoming chiefs, and so it's diluting a lot of the progress. And it's a shame that it's like that because I feel like this, man. Just keeping it 100. And it's a shame that it's like that until we get to a point where we feel like we can work together. It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be more chiefs than it is Indians. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we kind of
And
go off on
sometimes,
our own. Even the ones that try to work with somebody, we end up just going off on our own and saying, "Forget it." Because
yeah,
I did that, I didn't put in the work to say and no, I'm a chief, and I still I go in certain rooms. I can be the biggest
mhm,
person in certain rooms, and in the other rooms, I can be the smallest person. It don't affect me. My thing is the mission and what we're trying to accomplish. So
exactly.
I can go back and forth depending on the situation. My biggest problem is just just say in this area, and I'm just making up numbers because I'm not even thinking about anybody particular or
Right, right,
no particular number. Just say we got 30 people that say they're the bosses in the Central Texas area, right?
right.
If we got 30 people, realistically, I would say it's about 8 to 10. So if it's only really 8 to 10, but it's 30 plus people that think they're bosses, that means they would be great on someone else's team.
Right,
They might can make some money and they might can stay afloat on their own. But
right.
if they just said forget it, I'm gonna team up with this group of people, they probably can
Mhm,
make millions of dollars because they would add so much value to someone else's team. And
mhm.
it's the old saying of us. And I was a victim of this because I used to be like, I want my own business. So I want to own 100% of my business because I
Right.
didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? I thought owning
Yeah.
your business, even and that's the saying. Do you want to own 100% of a grape or 20% of a watermelon?
Right.
You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
saying that I always have. I always tell people, I say, what's 100% of nothing? They
Yeah,
look at me crazy. They be like, nothing. I say, exactly.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing we have to really break down to, and everyone has to look in the mirror and ask themselves that. Of course, we all want to be a boss, but are you really a boss? Is the
Mhm.
question you got to ask yourself. And even if you can't answer that question, you need to say, look around me. Do people gravitate to me? Do people follow my
Mhm.
lead? Am I really doing something that the masses of people will follow? Or I just in my head thinking I'm this person, but no one
Yeah.
else backs that up but me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you're right. Everybody knows that I'm in the building industry and I get it. We talk about it all the time, man. And I'm just like, nobody understands what I say when I say I'm in the building industry. That's one of those keywords that people don't get because they're like, industry? Well, what industry? And it's like global industry, and it just throws them for a loop. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I never put myself in a position where, you know, yes, I told myself I was a chief, but I wasn't too good to be down amongst the Indians because that's the tribe. That's what makes you, and if you start segregating yourself from them, all kind of crap can happen, but that's what happens, in a lot of even the small businesses, they might have one person that might be an Indian in themselves, but then what they start to do is they gravitate and they start becoming that tribal chief, and they forget about the Indian.
But
And so the Indian takes on a different type of mindset.
the thing is, a lot of most businesses and most people around here, even the bosses, have no employees, so they're the chief of nobody. There is
Well,
nobody.
that's true.
And see that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so you have to ask yourself to take this, and that's the question I used to ask myself. Okay, it
Hmm.
sounds good to have your own store. It sounds all that sounds good to own
Hmm.
100% or whatever. How do I scale this? How do I make this a corporation?
Yeah.
And we need to ask those questions to ourselves more, because then we'll come to some real solutions about, oh man.
Hmm.
And I just sat down and told you, man, like I'm running this like a mom and pop. Like, I'm very honest because I want to go to the
Right.
next level. So it's not I'm not scared to check myself and say, am I doing this wrong? Do I need to bring somebody in? Do I need to step
Right.
back from this position? I ask myself these questions constantly because I want to go to the highest levels. You
Right.
know, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
to me, whatever needs to be done to get to that level is just what needs to be done, and too many of us in our ego, and we want to just be the quote unquote boss, or we say we're this and we say we that, but we have
Hmm.
no stats, we don't have no statistics, we have no track record of being what we claim we are. And it
Yeah,
don't
I
mean that
agree.
you and it don't mean that you ain't. It means that, like, okay, like when we tell somebody it's cool to have a job, but have your side hustle, right? Maybe instead of you being a full-time 100%
Hmm.
chief in your little small world, won't you be an Indian in somebody else corporation to help grow that, and still do your side business on the side or
Hmm.
whatever? It's not telling you to kill your dream for somebody else's.
Right.
It's saying,
Yeah.
won't you gravitate to other movements that you can benefit and they can benefit off you, and make it bigger. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You're right.
Even all the stuff that I got going on. Literally, I had conversations this
Mm.
weekend. I'm joining bigger fish. You know what I'm saying? So like, so no matter what I think about my stuff,
Right.
who I'm joining, I have to be a team player. I have to be ready to,
Yeah.
like, and I can do that easily because there's no ego with me. I want to win. So
Yeah.
if I gotta be a lower level in your corporation to get to the next level, which gonna end up benefiting everything I'm doing on the back end anyway, I have no problem with that.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, if I was taught, because I'm from a different generation, and I was always taught you got to follow before you can lead.
Yeah,
And if you're not following, how are you going to be an effective leader? You know what I'm saying? If you look at it from a different perspective, right? Everything you said was true. But if you look at the chief or the king of a tribe or whatever the case may be, that king or that chief followed somebody before they got to that position.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he just popped out, the womb and grew up and said, I'm the chief.
yeah,
No, everybody has to follow something. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. You're not losing your dreams, because you're following. You can still achieve your dreams and
yeah,
follow,
yeah,
but we're in a generation now where I don't even know how to call it, bro. Because when we was talking about this last, I was like, I don't get it. I'm so far disconnected with the generations is because their mindset is just totally somewhere else. I mean, they 18, 19, 20, 25, 32, whatever, and they just think that, you know, I'm a boss because I say it,
yeah.
and I'm just like, what?
No
You
real
know,
stats. Nobody. No what.
yeah,
The
right.
thing about it is, don't you don't have to call yourself that. Let you operate a certain way. You make your moves a certain way, and the people that benefit off you, the people that you're helping get into a better position, they're going to say that for you. You ain't even got to say it. And then that's when you actually are that. When other people say that you that, and other people can vouch and say what you stand on and what you do and your stats and all that, that's when you're a real boss. If you just screaming into the high heavens and nobody else is really there to back it up, it's just you saying that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it's an ego thing. And that's why I say we would have a lot more going on if we, like I was just making up numbers, but say we got 30 people that quote unquote be bosses. And if in this, I would believe out of that 30 it'd be only 10. So that means it's 20 people that can gravitate to those 10 and blow them companies up and blow them organizations up. I'm talking about, and make more money than they ever could make on their own by being a part of something else. Like, and I always tell people like, and I'll use Nipsey as an example, right? He had a big brother, and Nipsey came up. His brother motivated him to become who he was. His brother was out there selling the shirts and CZs when Nipsey was young, and that motivated Nipsey to become who he became. But when he became who he became, he passed up his brother. His brother wasn't envious or nothing. He's like, okay, brother, my little brother got a bigger vision than me. Let me help his vision. Let me get behind his, because some people be like, oh man, that's my little brother. He can do his thing. I'm gonna do my thing, whatever. You know how we easily separate like that. Somebody, we get envious quick and we be like, nah, that's my little brother, man. I ain't gonna work for him. I ain't gonna do that. Nah, Sam said, man, my little brother got a bigger vision than me. My little brother sees something I don't see. He used to be he used to be behind me. Now it's time for me to get behind you, man. You the visionary, and look what they became. You know what I'm saying? And that's the spirit we need. That okay, I feel like I'm this and that, but no, you got a real vision. I need to get behind that. How can I add value to what you're doing? And then we'll figure out how to make my situation get bigger later. But what you got going on and the vision that you got, you need help with this, and let's go with it. Let's do it. And
I think a lot of people don't really think about what you just said for the simple reasons of, if they feel like they have to get behind somebody, like if they see somebody else's vision and then they pour into that person's vision, it's almost, to me, and this is just my opinion in the way I think they think that like they're putting their own goals and visions on the back burner. They don't really understand that type of connection and that type of mindset of somebody who's doing something over here. Yeah. And you still got your dream, but you could still look at that person and say, you know what? Let me put my stuff to the side for a little bit and jump on over here, because I see where this person is going and I want to be a part of that. And, that's what happened to me. I ain't gonna lie. Back way when I was in the 20s, I was reckless. I was there all over the place, until I met people who were talking a different language. And, I saw how they developed strong relationships by just joining somebody else's network, by just, getting to that point where they're like, man, I see what he's doing. And they all fall behind him. Yeah. That's how I came up. And I don't turn away from, I call them opportunities, because not all opportunities are bad opportunities. You just have to understand, when somebody brings an opportunity to you, you just got to have to recognize if it's for you or if it's not, but you shouldn't shut the door on an opportunity. I listen to everybody. Somebody come to me and say, I got an idea. I'll be like, okay, I'm listening. Because you never know. It might force me to put my stuff to the side and be that Indian. You know what I'm saying? And follow that chief.
Well, to me, what you started off saying is a big problem in my community. It's scarcity. We so scared that we're gonna, like you said, put our dreams to the side, or we so scared that we might help this other person and they take off and do this. And that's when you got to know who you're dealing with. And that's why what I lead with. And if you really throwing your weight behind somebody like that, and you bring that type of value, you need to go in talking about the numbers and how y'all can break it down. And if I help
Mm-hmm.
go, I start with you know how I am. I start with everybody. Like, hey, we do this together. You'll get this, you'll get that. This will be part of yours.
Exactly.
You'll have equity in the company. So we have those conversations out top and make
Yep.
and go ahead and nail that down. So you don't even have those fears. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I lead like that. Why? Because I know that most of us think like that. Most of us have that scarcity mindset. Most of us think the next one of us gonna try to get over on the next one of us. So that's why I lead with, nah, hey, if we do something together, hey, I'm willing to give up equity. I'm willing to give up this and that because I need this and I want that, and we can do this together, this and that. And so it's part scarcity, but we have to realize that how long we gonna do this same round of circle mom and pop's game and acting like we're doing something big? It's a bunch of mom and pop stores, and we acting like we're doing something huge, and we're not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something I have to do. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm going to the next level. I'm losing equity. I'm losing a lot of things, and to a certain degree, I'm getting told what to do. Why? Because I want to go to the next level. I can stay stubborn in my own ways and do it my way, and can't nobody tell me nothing, and this and that and that and this. Nah. Or I can go to another level by getting instructions, listening to this, bringing other people on, giving up percentages of my company. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm willing to do all that because I want to go to other levels. I don't want to stay where I'm at, you know, and just be a hard-headed person that own 100% of I ain't gonna say nothing, but very little.
Nothing.
If it is something, it's a mom and pop store. I'm just basically working. I might as well go give me a job if I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Making the same type of money, you know, working for myself. So that's what I'm saying. That's when you have to just step out of it, be ego. Don't be so scarcity mindset, and don't, because I had like a couple comments from my pictures over the weekend. Oh, watch the person. They might try to get you on the contract. I don't need to hear from no broke people that ain't got nothing about how a rich person gonna get over on me. Can it happen? Yes, that's my job to figure it out. But you can messed over
anybody.
Yeah, you get messed over every day, and you ain't even rich. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have these type of numbers on the table, and you get messed over. But that's just that mindset of somebody gonna try to get you. Oh, you better watch it. Oh, don't put that on me. You know what I'm saying? You can't put that on me. And one thing, like what I do is, like, I've been in a couple of situations where I lost money in investments. Right? Let's say Jay Morrison with the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. I didn't take that as like a lot of people doing. Oh, he scammed us. He messed us over in the community. This and that. No, because I'm an investor. You're gonna win some. You're gonna lose some. See, the problem is black people. We not used to losing an investment. White people, they understand they can win and lose. They understand. That's why they call it risk management. That's why they don't go all in. That's why they only put up what they can afford to lose. You know what I'm saying? Because that can happen. But us, we put up $500, and if he can't make us rich off $500, we calling him a scammer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the craziest thing ever. So I go into and it's a guy right now. I ain't, a multimillionaire that we did a deal, and it still owe me about $3,000-$4,000. It's people that's clowning him. It's people in his inbox, this and that. And they was like, well, why you don't be saying nothing about this? I'm like, man, do you know my first time? That Sienna sauce that I'm finna cash out on. That was because of him. He brought me into that deal. The knowledge in the game that he gave me, man, that $3,000. Even if I never get it, he done gave me more than $3,000.
Exactly.
But on the thing of that, I don't even feel like he got me. Some things just don't work out. But you know what? Instead of me burning that bridge and cussing him out and telling him he ain't nothing, I'd rather just let life handle the way life handled, and maybe me and him be at a table again one day, and we'll make that times a million. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think about everything that go wrong. Somebody got over on me. I understand business don't always go right. I understand that things happen. You know what I'm saying? Can you get scammed? Is it people that scam me? Yes, but I don't feel like
all day long.
I don't feel like I ever got scammed because I understand the wins and the losses, and I understand the possibilities when I jump in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are not educated on the word that you used, equity. And, I always try to tell people that being afraid of that word will be your demise later on in life, because equity in layman terms only means a piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying? If you look at it from what that means, because when we say equity or somebody else says equity, it trips people up because they're like, oh, equity. Oh, what? Oh, that's investment. How much money I got to put in? Oh, what if I lose? You know, blah, blah, blah. No, equity just means a piece of the pie. It doesn't matter who has the pie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the pie and you have to look at it and go, dang, that pie look pretty good. And that person comes to you and says, hey, look, I'm gonna give you some equity in this. All you need to do is do this. And then you get that piece of the pie. But they don't see it like that, you know, Tony. They see it totally different. They're afraid of that risk, you know, and you got to take a risk. You go to the hospital, you go to the dentist, you know what I'm saying?
It's all a risk. Yeah, that's why they
It's
make you
all a
sign the
risk.
papers. That's why they make you sign.
Exactly. It's all a risk.
Yeah.
You know, so why be afraid to risk on something that you can control? You know what I'm saying? You can control whether you do something with somebody in their piece of the pie. Okay. But if you can't control, you know, the person that's putting the scalpel across your head, that's the risk factor. And investments aren't made like that. Investments are made so that you can control them. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to put as much money into an investment. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to choose that particular investment. But that word equity is something we just don't. I'm going to say we, I'm going to say majority of our culture, they don't understand that.
I mean, they hear it and it sounds good, but they don't really know the ins and outs of it. And just in risk, we understand risk because most people are at poverty line, below it. You know, so your whole life is already at risk, but we're used to that type of risk. We're used to living check to check, making it, trying to find gas money for the next week to get to work.
Right.
Like, how we going to put groceries in the house? How we going to get extension on the light bill? See, those are risks, but we used to those risks, so they don't scare us like an investment risk will. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And that's the part that we have to get over, and we have to realize that these risks are a lot easier to take. We just so used to the other risks. So the way I try to teach us when I come to investing, it's like it's the same risk. Like I was telling the lady, man, you still gonna be living check to check, right? You've been living check to check all your life. So my strategy on trying to help you build wealth, when I like I say, the fast food to wealth, is not that you're gonna get rich overnight. You're gonna still be living check to check for a long time. But I have a student right now that's been following me for that's been going through my teachings for a year, right? She's still working at McDonald's, you know. In this last year, she has put over $6,000 in her brokerage account. Buying the stocks and buying the stuff that she follow. Every check she gets, she put 50, 75, $30, whatever she got. She just dump it. Hey, I was gonna do this, but hey, I'm gonna put this in there. What should I buy? That's been her, but she's still living check to check. So, but she been living check to check all her life and never had a brokerage account with that type of money in it, you know. So now this 1 year with me, she's still living check to check, but now living check to check with a different strategy. Now she got 6,000 to the side. So just imagine what we'll do in the next 3 to 5 years of with that same strategy. Keep adding this, keep adding that. So my strategy is, you're gonna still live check to check with the way I teach you, but you'll be giving yourself freedom in the next 5 to 10 years.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm saying. So it's a mindset switch, because we all have that money. I was telling the guy yesterday, I said, man, I can find $10,000 in everybody's budget that we blow every year. Now, what if we just direct that to some different investments? I'm talking about the poorest person at a fast food job. That's why I call the course Fast Food to Wealth, because I want people to understand you don't need big money to start building wealth. You need the right mindset.
That's correct.
If you got the right mindset, you can do that. So mindset, when we say too many chiefs, it's all a mindset thing, because I understand that. Oh yeah, of course everybody want to be some kind of a big dog or whatever. But what if you the big dog at Apple? They're not the owners, but the big dogs are the people that's in that top floor making all the moves. They still big dogs, even though they're not the owners. So, but they what? They running somebody else's corporation, somebody else's business. Correct. They might be whatever the high level, high level corporate, whatever the names in the jiggery is.
Right.
But they top dogs.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see. Like you could come on. You know how many people that I was trying to get into the wealth gangster? Like, hey man, you can get a percentage of it. I tell everybody I got 40% of. You can get you 5-10%. I'm pretty
Right.
sure that they want that 5 or 10% now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
they didn't see the vision. They didn't see the
Sure
vision
did.
on why I need 5% of that. Oh, you got a
Mhm.
YouTube channel because you didn't see the vision. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
You know. So that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So that's what I mean about that's when a person needs to say like me, I don't see a lot of opportunities, but I would be ready to do that. Like even with what I got going on, if it's some other stuff, other
Mhm.
guys that got something big, like most people I know around here, they just like flipping houses or something like that. So to me, that I don't need to. That's not a corporation that I can jump on and help take out. But
Right.
what we building is like corporation structures. That's something that a house flipper can come in and be a part of what we're doing and help take it to another level and still be flipping a house on the side. We're not gonna stop none of that, but you'll be
Yeah.
part of. But we can take your skills of the people whatever skills that you got in that house flipping, we put it in this corporation, we put it in this industry, and you can help just make this industry
Mhm.
just blow up, and you'll make more money. You'll
Exactly.
make more money working with Kemo blowing up
Mhm.
industry than you ever would flipping a house.
Exactly.
You see,
And
that's
that,
what.
but you know what? Seriously, it's the words.
Yeah.
Like that word you use, investment, right? That scares the death out of people who don't understand it. When you say investment, they're like, oh, because they don't understand what an investment is. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for somebody to really think about investing in something when they don't understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I don't have no money. Well, I can't invest in this. What you got? Everybody's got money. If you work a job, you got money. If you sell cookies on the corner, you got money. If you do a fundraiser, you got money. Why are you afraid of the word investment? I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get
And
it.
it's not all about money. It's like another example, Shield of Valor. Shield of Valor is three veterans came together, built that. They do
Right,
the real work. They did the ones that guarded the assemblies. I ain't never did none of that work, right? But for the last
right.
3 years, I've been doing nothing but sweat equity, networking, promoting, throwing events,
Mhm.
figuring out, helping them with business strategies. I haven't got $1. Actually, I had paid out money when they came down to throw events with the CPR classes and all that. Why am I doing that? First,
Right.
first because I love the mission and what it could do for our community and what the
Mhm.
business stand for. And in that high level executive protection, we probably black owned, being black owned, we probably like less than
Mhm.
1% in that field, right?
Mhm.
But the second part is just say I put sweat equity in that company for 5-10 years.
You'll get it back.
One contract, those contracts they start up at $500 million, 400-500 million
Yeah.
dollar contracts. You know what I'm saying? So one contract will be worth me doing work for free for
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8 years. Just one
Yeah.
contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not just talking. This is what I do. I'm actually that's why I say if it was more companies like that around, I would do that for more companies. But that's the only one that I really see the vision that they can take this up. They just need help. They can't
Yeah.
afford to pay me right now. They just need everything that I do with my companies and add that value to theirs. So
Exactly.
that's exactly what I'm saying. And when I'm in the room and they throwing Zoom calls in a lot of rooms, everybody waiting on me to talk. I'm the quote unquote boss or whatever, right?
Mhm.
When I'm in those Zoom calls, I got a CEO and a COO, and I respect them as my CEO. What are we doing today, boss man? It don't
Mhm.
it don't fade me no kind of way. That one room I'm in the boss, and that next room I'm a regional manager. I'm not no boss or nothing. I got to listen to what they tell me to do and execute that. I'm cool with that because it's about
Yeah.
the mission. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not even about if we got too many chiefs and Indians. We got to, especially in our community, we got to have people that got no egos where you can go back and forth. If you are a chief, it's gonna be times where you have to
Mhm.
be an Indian. You know what I'm saying? And you got to
I
do it
spent a lot
fluently.
of that time.
Yeah, you got to be able to do it real
Yep.
fluent. It can't be hard to do. So I can do it fluent. I can come in here and talk as a boss, and I come in here and listen as somebody that needs to
Mhm.
help you execute your move and your mission and follow your instructions. It's
Yeah.
easy.
I mean, I started off like that, and again, I think the biggest problem is, the way they were programmed. Because back when, I thought that, like, getting a good job, and I'm not saying, building industry or investing or whatever is good for everybody,
Yeah.
but I'm just giving you my perspective on it because, I grew up and it was like, okay, I want to get out the hood. And so I need to go get a good job. I need to educate myself. And you go and you get this good job, but you don't really realize what's happening. Okay. And the outcome of what's happening. So you got this job and you're working for somebody else and they're trading dollars for your time. They're saying, well, you only worth $12 an hour to me. Okay. But that person that's paying you is making millions and millions and millions and millions. And then you are putting all of your whatever into creating that empire or building that successful industry for that person who had that vision. It took me a while, Tony, to figure it out. And I was like, man, I'm back here, like you said, working paycheck to paycheck. I'm like, but if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't come into it like, I'm gonna quit my job, and I'm gonna go start this. No. While I was on that job, I paid attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I start reading their manuals. I start looking at all their operational books, and I'm sitting over here and people would literally come to me on my job and say, why are you always reading that stuff? And I'd just be like, just reading it. But I knew, like, the answers was in this. If I'm reading what that person developed, 9 times out of 10, I'll be able to follow that person's lead and follow that person's vision and then incorporate it on my own, in my own vision. And it's just, it's a hard thing to get through to people, like, how valuable their time is. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing to get through to them on how valuable their time is. But they don't think that when they get up in the morning, literally. And I'm just talking about me. I used to get up, man, barely had gas in my car, barely had money in my pocket, this much cereal in the box, no milk. And I would rush to that job.
Yeah.
Rush. You know what I'm saying? And even if I didn't have gas in the car, I would figure out a way to get to that job. But yet, when you look at it from a different perspective, you won't do that for your own vision. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you all of a sudden you can't find the time, but you can find the time in that 8 hours a day to go rush and prepare that person's vision. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have. We start looking at it like this. I approach you, Tony, and I say, hey, man, I'm building this over here, man. I'm building industry, blah, 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 blah. I done invested X, Y, and Z, man. Why don't you come along and help me out? Oh, no, man, I ain't got no time. But you go to work every day. Yeah.
You got time.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, because they know when they clock in, they get paid next Friday. They know when you building something, you might not get no pay for a minute. So they can't their mind can't connect that. Like I just said, what I've been doing for Shield of Valor for the last 3 years. Ain't nobody and Shield of Valor even told me, they like, man, we got lawyers, we got cousins and that's lawyers and all kind of positions in our family, and they would not. They said they need money. You know what I'm saying? They just told them straight up, I need money. But that's the mindset. We have an employee mindset, so we don't understand how to put in some sweat equity, how to really help build, how to get our ego out of it. And let me help you because it can help us. Like one thing about it, I don't sit down with nobody, and I say this all the time. I don't sit down with nobody, do business with nobody where it ain't gonna benefit both of us. And I don't want to sit down with nobody that don't think like that themselves.
Exactly.
So I don't even want to sit down with a person that you don't feel the same way. You shouldn't want to sit down with me. You're not trying to benefit me, and I can benefit you. You know,
Exactly.
that's not even on no exploitation stuff. That's just how we got to think when we operating with each other in
Hmm.
business and life. We got to be there
Hmm.
to bring some kind of quality, something better to y'all. I'm not here to bring hell to keep Kemo. You got enough shit. You got enough time to be talking.
Right.
Every time I talk to Tony, he just bringing somebody.
Right.
But that's just common sense. So we have to think like that. We have to put other people lives, and that's why I don't take nothing personal if it don't work out or if somebody
Yeah.
get upset, because I understand, like all the guys that I used to be in the streets with, I used to be hurt that we couldn't trans over together and do this stuff together that I'm doing now, but I understand that
Hmm.
they had different vision, they had different lives, and my
Hmm.
vision, I can't force my vision on nobody else. That's one of my biggest things that I had to get over, because I'm like screaming from the mountaintop, I figured it out. I need y'all got to do this, y'all don't do this, y'all stupid, this and that. You start, but I realized that now they just have different ways, and they see something different. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe they right. Maybe going to work and doing it their way, at the end, they gonna be better off than me. I doubted it, and I strongly doubt it now. But I'm just saying that you just have to be courteous and think of other people, and be more understanding instead of always judgmental and trying to look for a reason to be mad or fall out with somebody.
Yeah.
I look for a reason where we can keep it cool, even if it don't work right now. That's cool. Maybe we can circle back later on in life. No hard feelings, man. Hey, I wish you the best. I salute you. I wish you the best. So we just need to be more positive about everything, man. And I think being more positive, less worried about if somebody's going to get over on you, and just be confident. Like me, but people always say, why you to tell so many people like what you about to do, this and that? What if they run with it? How they gonna run with it? And they can't
run with that.
They can't run with me though. We can do the same entrepreneur program, and it's gonna be different because you ain't me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So that don't intimidate me if it's another somebody else doing a version of a CEO youth league. That's cool. They not me because it's somebody that can say I'm doing a version, because I'm not the first person to talk just trying to build something to teach entrepreneurship.
Right.
But I'm just doing it my way with my style, so it's super different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's that scarcity mindset when you always think somebody getting you. Like, and I hear this word around, especially around here, gatekeeping.
Oh yeah.
No one has no power in this area to even gatekeep. There's no gatekeepers because ain't nobody with no power.
That's true.
You just because somebody might not invite you to what they're doing, that don't mean they gatekeeping, because they ain't doing nothing over there anyway. They just got their little circle of their friends. There's no real power.
Exactly.
Gatekeeping is people that's real powerful that can keep you out of certain situations and keep you from getting paid and ain't nobody around here with no type of power like that. Mm-hmm. All they can do is dislike you and not invite you to a fish fry or an outing or something.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
There's
it.
no real power right there. So we have to get off that and just realize that. I mean, my whole phrase, I always say, man, we can build together, or we can never build together, and I'll salute you from a distance. Like it's nothing. It don't faze me. Of course, I would like to build with some people. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, because I definitely don't want to be teamed up with a lot of people. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? But for the right ones, it is people that I am like, dang, I wish it would have worked out, because I see their talent. I see their qualities and their talent, but. I don't force nothing either. If it don't just come together, I learned that in business.
Mm-hmm.
If you trying to force something, it should just organically come together. If we got the same vision, and even if we have disagreements and fallouts and all that, that's cool. That's regular. If we got the same vision and we like-minded, we're gonna still come together. You know what I'm saying? But if we gotta force it and make it, and I'm cool with that. I ain't forcing nothing. I'm out the way.
Yeah. But you know what? There is no shortage of millions. There's no shortage of billions. Yeah. There's no shortage of trillions. There's no shortage of chiefs, and there's no shortage of Indians. Okay, it all exists in this world that we live in. But see, the thing that I think, just because everything you say is right, but at the same time, I try to peep knowledge from a different perspective.
For sure.
And I started taking some of my mentees on field trips.
Okay.
And this was in the past when I was in Cali, and I would go on these field trips, and I'd be like, okay, we're going on a field trip, and they'd be like, where we going? We don't worry about it, and we end up in the grocery store, you know, and I would just, you know, be like, okay, pick an aisle. And they, you know, look at me and be like, okay, that aisle. We go in that aisle. And I say, well, let's walk through the aisle. Get to the end. I say, what did you see? And they wouldn't understand. And the reason I'm telling you this is because my mentor did it to me when I was back younger. And I was like, it tripped me up, man. And I think that's why I work the way that I work, because, you know, he said, what did you see? You know, and I tell them the same thing. And they'd be like, well, I see this and people and that, and, you know, products on the shelf. Nah, you're not paying attention. Let's walk back to the other end, right? Get back to the other end. I said, what did you see? Still don't get it. Bring them to the middle of the aisle, and I turn them and I put them right. Let's just say we're in the bread aisle. And I say, what do you see? And they still don't get it. Look, there are hot dog buns on the shelf, but there are so many different brands of hot dog buns, so many different brands. That tells you that those companies aren't worried about the other companies.
Good.
It tells you that there's no shortage of money and funds in the bread industry,
Sure.
you know. And when you go look at the produce, when you go look at the meat section,
It's all the same.
it's all the same, you know. So why do we trip, you know, when someone approaches you with an idea and an opportunity? It's simply because we don't know the meaning of the words.
Yeah.
That's what scares us. Equity, investment. You see what I'm saying?
When do I get paid? I don't know.
Right.
When we produce something, that's when you get paid. Maybe not even then. You might have to
Right.
invest it right back into it. You know,
Right.
And I had that lesson with the you know, where I be, you know, I do my deliveries to job sites, and it was last week it was another black man out there doing like turkey legs and stuff, and they was like, oh man, he trying to come and take your spot and this and that. I'm like, man, like I don't, but see. What I realized that when you get away from having a scarcity mindset, more money comes to you.
Yeah.
I went over there and got that man card. I went over there. He asked me for some pointers. I said, yeah, man, I sell this because what you're doing is a little higher. They don't really spend a lot of money during lunch like that. So I'm giving him the game. It's no intimidation, because whoever gonna buy something from me gonna buy something from me. And if somebody want a turkey leg or something, they just want a turkey leg or something. That's not for me over there mean mugging him and try to get him off the premises, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went over there, got the man contact, told him that I'm opening up a food truck park and we can do some business and this and that. And he's an older man too, so I was like, man, you ain't got no young blood to help you, because you know the lunchtime I hit this spot, then I package up and I go to the other spot, but he can only hit one spot because by the time he packaged back up and everything, you know. So I'm trying to give him the ins and the outs of it. But I realized that me having that mindset where I want to help you make some money, even if it takes a couple dollars out of me.
Wow.
It brings me more money because it's the energy. It's the energy. If I was over there hating and me mugging him, he might have a long line and I might not have nobody just because I got that wrong energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I told him. I'm like, man, McDonald's and Wendy's open up every day by McDonald's, and they know McDonald's gonna clean house. But Wendy's is a multi-million-dollar business too. You know, they not making what McDonald's making, but they still eat good in the Wendy's family.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
they still in the Fortune 500.
Exactly. So that's my point. Like, us as a people, we got to stop mean mugging every time we see another person. And I ran through this, and I told you about this with the nonprofit. I tried to team up with every nonprofit around here and it was all love until I got me a nonprofit. And then I was like, why is this? What's the energy? I didn't get it at first, and they was like, oh no, because now you're a nonprofit. They feel like y'all going after the same money,
right?
Like, but it's millions and what have you heard of any? I ain't gonna say white. I'm gonna say any other race nonprofit beefing with another nonprofit over money when there's plenty of money. All you gotta do is fill out the money, whether you're gonna get it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, I have never seen
this much or this much.
Yeah, you know, and if you can't get it, that's when we should be teaming up and doing events together. That's when we should be bringing awareness together that we doing the same type of work, and we need some help from the community, or let's have a bake sale together. We can get creative with different ways instead of us hating and staying away from each other and trying to act like others don't exist. That's scarcity mindset. It's another reason why that ain't even that's not really chiefs and Indians, but it's the mindset of everybody. I want to be the biggest chief. I want to be the only chief with a nonprofit around here, because you intimidate me, and now I might not be able to get the money that I was getting at first because you opened up a nonprofit. Instead of saying, "Hey man, I'm glad to see you got a nonprofit." It's a lot of work that need to be done out here in these streets, man. Say, once you holler at such and such, they give out grants too. Once you do this and once you do that, and then they vice versa, they tell you, "Hey, I got a grant from what's the name?" And then once you go check them out, they gave me a grant. They might give you a grant.
Give you one, right? Exactly.
If you get away from that scarcity mindset, I promise that more flow into you. And a lot of us don't get that, because I see that we'll try to stop the next person that's doing the same thing or similar actions just because we feel intimidated, like it's gonna take something from me. I'm not intimidated by no one. No, I'm talking about literally no one. So that could be like what I was doing this weekend, right? The numbers and everything that we were talking about. What if one of them was like, nah, because I'm intimidated by him. Don't let him in the door.
Right.
They like, man, come on, man. We finna get you rich. I want, like, because people with that type of wealth, they understand by bringing somebody else like me on board. He already, you know what I'm saying? Now what he got in Temple, he never had nobody on his team like that. Now I'm promoting his stuff. Now I'm pushing his product. Why? Because of what his company is doing for me on the back end. What's gonna happen is the more money my company makes, that's extra millions for him. He know that.
Yeah. Well, when you break into industry, and I was explaining this, I was like a guest speaker at this event a long time ago. And I made this comment about when you break into business or industry, or you want to become a business owner, whatever the case may be, is you cannot be hypocritical. A lot of, small and micro business owners are very hypocritical. Now, let me explain what that means. So you open a business, and let's just say it's selling scarves. And then you go and you put your money and your time into building an online presence or whatever, or you start to get your brick and mortar, or you sell your products at, the flea market. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now you are it's an expectation that because you did that, people should support your business. But that's not real life. You know what I'm saying? Because for every small or micro business that goes into business with that type of mindset, they dilute the customer pool.
Yeah.
If you got 2,000 businesses on one corner, okay, that's just the example.
Yeah.
In this one block, why do you think you're not going to get customers? Why? Because you diluted the customer pool becoming that business owner. But the thing that I tell people that they must realize is this: don't be hypocritical. Don't expect me to walk in and buy your products, but you not reciprocate that.
Yeah.
We're in an enterprise. We're in a marketplace. We're in a pool where it should be like, hey, Tony, I know you got your business over here. Man, you know what? Them cups is like off the chain.
Yeah.
Let me buy like 20 of them. Okay. Or, can I do some business with you? And I want to order 16 cases. Mm-hmm. And I want to go sell them at the flea market. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't be that type of hypocritical. But most people are hypocritical when they start their business, and then they wonder why they ain't making money. Well, why? It's a no-brainer, right? Yeah. Oh, you're hypocritical. Oh, you want me to give you some money, but you don't want to give me no money. I got a business. You see how that doesn't work?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. When you're in different rooms, do you know, like this Saturday once again when I was in Atlanta. I ate it. It was 3 different places, black-owned food trucks that was there, right? And I was starving on the plane, but I said, "Nah, I'm gonna wait till I get there because I know I didn't want to spend no money nowhere but there because I know I was gonna be there all day. So I'm like, I'm gonna circulate money in there." And like the first guy I bought something from, I don't even know what it was, like some chili cheese fries or something,
Right.
and some lemonade or something. And the first thing he said is, "You where your station at? I want to come spend some money with you." I was like, "Nah, man."
Exactly.
I said, "Nah, man. I'm just here. I'm just here networking,
Right.
promoting." So that's when we exchanged IGs and numbers and this and that. And he was like, "Man, you know what you doing?" So we start breaking down that. But it was just that energy, like, "Oh man, you over here at my table buying something. Where your table at? I want to buy something back from you." You know,
Yeah.
and that's the energy you got to give. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way you circulate it. But that's the way where people want to put that energy behind you. Like it's gonna be hard for people, even everybody, like even the people that quote unquote say they dislike me and not face to face, they do nothing but love me because they know how I am.
Right.
Anybody around me, they know I'm here for us to win. Because no one that can tell you that, no one that can tell you different. They might say, "Well, he didn't come back when I thought he was gonna come back," or "I wanted to do this with him and he didn't show up." So they might tell you some personal, emotional reasons why they mad at me, but there's no one gonna say that. "Oh yeah, that he do want us to win. He did give me a game plan on how we can do this and do that, and you know, and this and that." So that's just my energy. Because I realize it, and I'm saying that because I used to have the other energy when I came out the streets. Streets have you it's just me, forget everybody else. So so if me and you fall out, man, I ain't worried about you because I'm gonna get money myself. That's how you stay at a mom and pop's situation though. You know, bro, you can't grow a corporation when you thinking with like the streets and be like, man, forget y'all, I'm one deep. I don't need nobody. Yes, you do. If you grow in a corporation, I don't care how many people you fire. You need to fire somebody else to hire because you cannot run a corporation with just you. You know what I'm saying? So you can't let one bad employee or one bad instance or one bad dealing throw you off or not want to deal with people. If you do let that happen, I mean you don't want nothing major. You don't want the next level corporation. You don't want the next level of business because you can't do that. So we have to get away from the scarcity, and we have to realize even if you feel like you're a chief, you should be able to go interchangeable in and out to being an Indian. And if you see somebody with something real, something real that you know your skills could help, you need to bow yourself down and be a part of your business. I want to help your business. Can I get a position in your business? Like I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to do mine a little less and do yours a little more if I can really have some equity. I can really have a stake in what you got going on. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm really and that's an easy conversation. The person gonna say yay or nay. And like Shield of Valor, they were like, "Oh man, we need you. Whatever, it don't matter." You know, like we screaming for some help, and I'm like, and it's going on 3 years, and I haven't got $1. I'm not even looking for no money. I'm looking for some money to raise for them. I don't want no money still because I know one contract,
just one
could change everything.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wish when I tell people about the House of Resource. You know how I've been screaming the House of Resource, the CEO Youth League, the Women's Gangster, all these, my vision, all these are multi-million-dollar organizations. And I can't find one person that you know what I'm saying, that's willing to be like, you know what, I'm ready to get behind that full-fledged and we're gonna ride it out.
But you ain't gonna find that in our community, not in this community, you know, and I'm gonna be real serious when I say that, because again, you're absolutely right. Until they understand what that type of system looks like, they're always going to be afraid to make any kind of moves like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to stop worrying and focusing on the money, you know, because the money is there. It ain't going nowhere. It's all around us all day. But when you focus on that, you start to lose sight of whatever it is you're doing. You know, people waste more money without businesses than people with businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
And I tell them that all the time. I'm like, by the time you go through your day and you stop and get some lunch, put some gas in your car, you know, go pick up a new pair of shoes, get a new book bag and the backpack and this and that, you done spent more money in the day than I did, and I own a full company.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
You spend more money and you didn't waste so much time. You could have did sweat equity with a company and gave them two or 3 hours of that time that you strolling on your phone, and you could be helping build up them to a multi-million-dollar just by giving them sweat equity. You ain't doing nothing anyway but strolling and posting on Facebook line and resharing dumb stuff all day. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at it. We have to look at it on the whole board, man. So that's why I say it's a mindset, and we have to challenge the mindset. That's what it. And like I say, I'm the person. I don't never want to get on here and act like I'm teaching or I'm this master teacher. What I talk about. What I talk about is what I'm living. When I talk about bowing down and a person that feels like they're a CEO and they run their own thing, that's me. But I can still tell you that in the shit of Valor room, I'm like I ain't gonna say I'm probably like I'm the Texas Southern Region Manager, but it's like 4 or 5 people above me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I gotta listen to all of them and take instruction because this is not even my field. My field really is just the marketing, the strategy, and all that stuff. That's my qualities that I bring to them. Everything else I gotta learn, and I have no problem with that. And I mess with them all the time. I would tell Jason them I had missed a couple Zoom meetings, and I'm like, man, I gotta call my bosses. I don't want to get no trouble. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, man, we understand what you're doing, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to get no trouble, man. I'm sorry for this and that, my bad, because I respect hierarchy in business.
Yes.
And if you want to be the chief, you got to be able to respect everybody.
The hierarchy.
You want them to respect you. And when you making the calls and making your plays, you can't disrespect people and then want everybody to respect you.
You have a hierarchy in your day job.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Regardless.
There's somebody there that's over you. 2 or 3 people, maybe, and you have to respect that until you make your way up there. And, I live my life like that. I don't come on this show to bag on anybody or think that I'm the expert. I don't. I am who I am, but I live my life, just the way you said it. Like I'm always, because, we be talking and when you say something that I think is really good, I'll be like, yo, dog, I'm behind that.
Yeah.
That's how you have to be. That's how I was taught. Like, I ain't worried about my stuff. What about this thing? I like that. I see that vision. Yeah. Let's move on that. But that is a hard thing to communicate nowadays, because everybody is so caught up into me, myself, and I. Let me get the bag. I'm worried about myself, blah, blah, blah. And then they go out and they try to conquer these things on their own for whatever reason they try. And it becomes a disaster at some point, and the ones that do make it, they done been through some stuff, and they may be not telling you what they've been through, but you and I, we done been through some stuff. Yeah. We just didn't pop out and say we're going to start, farms and all these things that we do. No, we done been drugged, through the mud and across the mud and under the mud. And now we've been victorious by, learning and following.
And understanding and adjusting and realizing,
exactly.
You gotta go through that. And that's why I'm willing to say all the things I say now, because I lived through it. I'm living through it. And I lived through it. I'm still living through it.
You and me both of us.
Yeah. So to a lot of people, I'm a chief, but there's a lot of rooms where I'm an Indian. But but in both rooms, my respect that I give and get is the same. That part don't change, So it's not no ego thing. It's about, okay, for the mission of this, what we got to do. Oh, you need me to play this role to really accomplish this mission? Done.
Yeah.
Oh, you need me to take more of a leadership and be one of the big dogs to accomplish this mission? Done. Oh, you need me to fall back and be one of the small dogs and just do the little maintenance stuff and get it done. Whatever it takes for the mission to get complete is what we should be willing to do. But a lot of us just really need that reality that it's a lot of mom and pops organization. We're not doing nothing. And you know why I can say that? Because I told you that to your face. What? I'm running a mom and pop organization. I told you that.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah, I
not like
know.
me. It's not like me feeling like I'm better than somebody else. No, I was doing the same thing. I was making the same
Mm-hmm.
mistakes. I was doing
Yeah,
100%. I run this. This is my thing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I was doing the
me
same
too.
thing, and it got me
Yeah,
nowhere. It got me. It got me 6 figures in debt. It got me in a whole bunch of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Trying to run it
yeah,
like that, and my mission wasn't getting complete. So I had
yeah.
to adjust. I had to sit back and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, yeah, I could have blamed the community. I could have blamed this person,
Right.
that person. I said, no, I did it wrong.
Yeah,
What I tell you on the house resource, I said, you know what? I moved too fast. Yeah, I could have got more help. I could
yeah,
have got more support. I could blame all that if I want to, but no, I'm gonna look in the mirror and say I moved too fast. I shouldn't even got a building I need to invest that much money into. I
yeah.
should have did. That's when you really making steps to really go to the
Mm-hmm.
next level. When you check yourself and you don't look for nobody to put the blame on. You put it even. And I learned this years ago. Even if it's somebody that worked for me, right, and it's their fault, it's my fault because I hired you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and then and
yeah.
when you have that mindset, even the people that work for you respect you more because they're gonna be like, nah, it's really my fault, but he over there taking it like it's his.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes them more accountable. And you know what I'm saying? It just makes the whole situation. What's up, fam? Accountability. You already know. That's what I'm saying. You got to be able to look at
Mm-hmm.
each other and check ourselves and be like, oh no, why? Because I want to
Mm-hmm.
get to the highest level. And when I want to get to the highest level, I can't sit here and be like, man, Kemo gave me some wrong information, this and that. Man,
Right.
it's Kemo fault, man. Nah, Kemo
You
gave me the
messed
right
me up.
information. I just didn't listen or I didn't execute it right. Or maybe I did
Mm-hmm.
this wrong. Or maybe I did that wrong. And that helps me become better because ain't nobody, I'm looking at myself. I'm checking myself about it.
You know what? I learned a long time ago that there are benefits in being an Indian and
yeah,
following, because I wouldn't be where I am today had I not been that Indian. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't focused on trying to be the chief. I had a chief as a mentor who
yeah,
probably was an Indian, but at the same time, he told me, he was like, there's lots of benefit in following.
yeah.
And I never understood that until, later on in life. And I was like, damn, he was right about that. There's a lot of benefits in following.
Yeah. And you save yourself a lot of the headaches, a lot of the financial stresses and all that. But hey, I'm just following you. What we doing here? You know what I'm saying? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And that saves a lot
yeah,
because a lot of everybody want to be the head person until you realize that you're not making no money, but you got to figure out how to pay your employees. You're not making no money,
yeah,
but you got to keep this business afloat. You're not making no money,
yeah.
but you got to still go out there and smile and represent the company with a smile on your
Exactly.
face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you crying
yeah,
on the inside, but you're over here like, hey, y'all, keep it up, this and that. You don't know what to do really, but
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So that headache is not what you, and that's why, I always I tell you all the time, everything that I started, at least 40% is up for sale because I'm way past them days.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
somebody to come on and really help me take on this and really take
yeah.
some of the pain off me and some of the stress off me and some of this financial pain off me and all that because I don't
Hmm.
care about the person. Oh, I'm the big person and this all in my name. That's for a person. That's for a person that ain't going nowhere. And I've been that person.
It ain't nothing
I've
in
been
my
that person.
name. I don't know about all that. All I
Yeah,
know is this. I have people in my organization right now that are, now I'm their boss, but I still follow them.
yeah, for
They're
sure.
way younger than I am, and I follow them.
Yeah.
And I ain't
Uh,
talking about social media. I ain't
yeah,
talking about that. I'm talking about they come in with some
the business.
really good things.
Yeah.
Yep. And I sit back and I be like, okay, take the
That's
lead. Let
that's
me
what I need.
follow.
Yeah. Let me follow.
Exactly. Mm,
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, man, so as we wrap it up, what my whole thing is saying that it's so much talent around here, but
tons.
it's talent that want to do it on their own, and
Oh, yeah.
they're not that
Yeah.
talented. If that makes sense. Like it's some talented people, but doing it on your own, you really not being able to display your talent.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not.
It's like a person that's talented with AI or this and that or whatever the new technology. Somebody that's in their basement that's real talented, right? And they can do a couple things in their basement, but what their talent inside of Meta or their talent inside of NVIDIA organization can help NVIDIA make billions of dollars and they gonna make millions of dollars. But they can sit in their room with that same talent and make nothing and just keep that talent.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so it's a lot of us that would rather stay in our basement with our talent and barely make it instead of, you know what, let me take my talents and get with Kemo and that and get this industry thing popping. Let me take my
Exactly.
talents over there. What I see what Tony doing, he
Yeah.
got the House Resource, he got the CEO Youth League. You know, with my
Yeah.
talents in my call log and the people I got, you know, I can help turn that to a multi-million-dollar business like that. If we had more people that thought like that, man, that'll be
Let me
game.
tell you, let me leave you with this nugget before we get out of here.
Yes, sir.
And it was something I was told, like I said, a long time ago by my mentors, but I always thought about it. And maybe this will help whoever's viewing understand exactly what we're talking about when we say Chiefs and Indians. But here's the analogy, right? There's lots of talent in a marching band. There's lots of talent on a football team. But when they come together, they're successful together. All that talent mixed up wins Super Bowls. All that talent makes them the conference band champion. They don't hear or see individuality when they step onto those fields. You understand that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's your major corporations right now.
Right now.
There's talent all in these organizations, but it's not an individual thing. You know what I'm saying? You're on a football field. What do you care? They're all getting paid big money. They all got super talents when it comes to getting on that field. People need to understand that. Well, ain't nobody trying to relinquish your talent. Ain't nobody trying to take nothing away from you. But you need to understand that when you come together and we bring these talents together, oh, it's a whole nother story.
It's a whole nother story. And you win more. I came across some years ago because I'm like, individually, I'll be able to take care of my household. You'll be able to take care of your household. We'll be able to make a little money. Can't nobody stop. We'll be all right individually. But no matter what you can make individually, you can make 100 times more with a group with the right group. Yeah. So my whole thing was, if people really money hungry, if you really that money hungry, you really want to get rich, your best option is with a group of people with like-minded and the right skills. It's not solo. That's not the way to get super rich.
It's not.
So even if let's just say that you just want to be the super rich person in the world, you're going wrong if you're thinking about just doing it yourself. That's the wrong way to get super rich. That is the absolute wrong way. You know, and that's when I had to realize that, oh man, I want to be a billionaire. I cannot do this by myself. I don't care. I don't care how smart I am, how talented I am, how many nights I stay up, whatever I can do everything in the world. I cannot become a billionaire without the right team. It's just
correct.
It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Mark,
you got to be the tuba player in the back of the band. Boom, 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 boom. That's how you get there.
That's how you get there, man. So that's definitely something we can lead, no matter how whatever money you make on your own right now. However great you think you are on your own.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go be richer, greater, and better, you have to have a team. That don't mean hook up with everybody. You have to find the right type of people with the right mindsets and the right business.
Exactly.
But you have to have some type of team. You have to. Like, like we'll get mad if fire one person. I ain't hiring nobody else. Walmart hiring 5 people every day. Why? And Walmart got a lot of bad employees. That don't keep them from hiring the next employee because they have to have people. They need people. Yeah. And that's what we gotta understand. We need people. We might have some bad situation with people, but that's not gonna stop us from needing another person tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset I got. I don't care how bad it go or I fall out with this person or that person. I know after that I need somebody. Okay, that was the wrong person. I still need somebody though. I need some people.
You need somebody.
You need somebody, So
or somebody's.
Bodies. You know what I'm saying?
I got a lot of people around me, and I don't walk around like, Main Supreme. I know that I didn't get to where I am without them.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line.
It's the bottom line, man. So that's what we're doing. We talking about chiefs. It's okay to be a chief, but if you're gonna be a chief, understand the ebb and flows of going in and out of it, and don't be an ego driven
Right.
chief. If you're a chief, don't be ego driven. Be a chief because your stats and what you really do and what you really produce says you're a chief. If you say you're a chief more than what you really do say you're a chief, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Let your
That's
work.
the problem.
Let me be able to sit back and say, oh yeah, I see the work that, yeah, that's a big dog right there. I see the work you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But if you're only a chief because you say it, but I don't see nothing, like, now that's suspect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna end this out. You got any words as we end this night out?
Nah, I left them with my nugget. My nugget is just think about what I just said about the football team and the band.
That's it. And go let them know the website. Tell them the website. Go check out. And you still looking for agents, right? Will they see will they find
all day long?
Well,
they can go to K7. They can go to k7jauthentic.com. All the information's there. And please don't DM me and say you need more information. Just go there and read.
Yeah.
Just read. I even put videos up there to help you. So you need to understand, like, I am not, and I'm saying this publicly.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for people to work for me. I'm not looking for people to be my flunky. I'm looking for people to build with.
Yeah.
Period. That's it. If you fit that category, all you got to do is go to the website and read, and you'll understand what I'm doing. Because I'm not making what I'm doing public. I'm growing and I'm expanding my presence around the world.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of politics in that, especially when you're a Black man. Yeah. But at the same time, it is what it is. Go there, see if the information fits. If you want to inquire, I'll be more than happy to make sure you get the information that you need. But it's all on that website.
All on the K7jauthentic.com. And
that's it.
Y'all tap in. And
yeah,
I appreciate you showing up tonight. We'll everything fall in place. We'll be back next Tuesday for more conversations of power, man. We appreciate everybody tap in. Want y'all like, subscribe, and join. We got some we got some big news, man.
We got some stuff going.
We didn't even go over what happened this weekend. We stay focused on the drive.
Yeah.
Maybe next week or two, as things start folding out, we're really talking about what's going on. But like I say, I ain't really gonna talk too much. I'm a show. You see what I'm saying? You finna see the commercials and the ads and be like, hold on, he's really building this out. You're gonna start seeing. So I ain't gotta do too much talking. It's time for me to just show them. So once again, I'm living by example. I'm not gonna sit here and talk this big talk. You just gonna start seeing, like, you're gonna start noticing that. Okay, I see that, I see this, I see that.
Yeah.
That's how we should all move. Show the work. Just show the work, man.
Exactly. It's not in what we know, it's what we can prove. And again, like I said, the only way you find that out is you make the move. You don't make the move, you don't know.
Sir.
It's that simple.
Well, I appreciate you, big homie. I'll be talking to you soon. Thank y'all for tapping in, man. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
All right, brother.
Peace.